Five Minutes with Sean, maybe 10, episode 296. Holy cow. Thank you guys so much on the road to 300. I am super excited. Last week on the show, we talked about commitment. I would say it takes quite a bit of commitment to get to 296 straight Mondays with you fine folks. Thank you again so much for your support. So we've got ourselves an interesting little situation in the car business. The last 3 years have been, well, to put it mildly, wild and weird and crazy and all those things. But now we are slowly approaching a world where we have more cars, less customers, less interested parties. And the parties we do have, that's right, my friends, our gluttony has come and caught up with us. And now we're fucked in a sort of way because we've got so much negative equity that we're not sure what to do with it in some cases. And people aren't able to get out of cars. We're not able to improve this cycle of moving units every 3 years. Recently, I read that Honda led the way in leases for this year. Wow, shocking. A manufacturer understands how to get people back into cars. Interesting. That's the kind of thing that we need to be thinking more of in times like these is what can we do to be creative? What can we do to work with the consumer to get things accomplished? Okay? There are plenty of people out there, Matt Lasher, one of them, who understand how to help today's consumer because they're going to be, if they're not already, quickly turning into payment buyers. Payment buyers are, well, they're someone that if you work with them correctly, you should be able to get a deal done in no time if a deal can be made. Remember what I said earlier to start the show, negative equity. I am not the biggest fan of some of the approaches we've taken over the last couple of years because I try to have more of a forward thought process. Again, when a car became an appreciating asset, I expected there to be a little bit more what the fuck from people. Really, I did. I when I said it to someone, they're like, oh, wow, yeah, I guess that's kind of weird. Kind of weird. That's wrong. And the reason it's wrong is because it fucks up the entire ecosystem moving forward. And again, we are human beings. And so for us, rarely are we thinking 2 moves from now. It's the move in front of us and maybe the move after that. Sometimes even the move we already made that gets us caught up. Except when it comes to, like I said, that gluttony, right? Pigs get fat. What happens to hogs? Exactly. That's what we're trying to avoid here because you're going to start to see a real compression in the space. I don't give a fuck about recessions, national headlines. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the car business. What's going on here, what we see, read, and feel each and every day. And that is there are still people looking for cars, but now they have a ton more to look at. They can go everywhere. Discounts are back on hoods for the most part. Yes, I understand that the desirable inventory is still going for over MSRP, which was dumb 2 years ago. It's even dumber now. But again, people can't help themselves. It's about a right now situation. It really is. And it's also, I get it. I understand these certain vehicles that are going for over MSRP. They're only making a select few. That is, it's still, this is both blame of consumer and dealer. Consumers should never pay over MSRP. Dealers should not try to force it and make it the only way someone can buy something. But again, I get things are only worth what someone will pay. So if someone will pay 15 up, that's fine. But from an industry perspective, when everybody takes place in that, now we find ourselves 3 years later in some hot water. And it's unfortunate because our manufacturers, even though the rebates are back on the hoods, they haven't done really much. Not as much as they could. Subvent lease rates would be one of them. Volkswagen, brand that sticks out to me. Sign and Drive, where it at? I know it's there, but where is it at? How's it going? Is it successful? Is it hard to convince people Sign and Drive is cool for $500 a month? It used to be $299, right? Now you throw into this whole thing with everything that went on with the labor wars. At the end of the day, economists say it shouldn't raise the price of cars. Well, that's interesting because that was the whole bitch from the manufacturer. But the manufacturer now says they're broke. But now, look, and do not send me the DMs about where I don't give a shit. Unions have a place in this country, maybe not in the way most people think, and they all need reform through and through. This was a better deal for them than it was for the manufacturers. Now, I don't necessarily take manufacturers' side on any topics, but I'm in the car business, and I want to be in the car business for the foreseeable future. So we have to make sure that collectively we are looking out for our future. So let me give you some recommendations on what I'd be doing right now. Because I have lived through 9/11. I have lived through 08 and the cash for clunker era of our world. And it is only right that we go through it yet again, delayed, honestly, cycle-wise in our history than when it normally was. But everything changed because of COVID. Everything. What was once looking like this, then COVID hit, then everything went off and changed. Everything. So that's why I'm telling you, I'll give credit to the last 3 years being unique. But we've been through these dips, dives before. And what I didn't have in 01, what I didn't have in 08, what I wish I had was social media. Social media, guys and gals, is where you can be absolutely effing killing it right now. You have the time. You have the time. I'll never understand how dealers don't have time for social media. If it's because you don't have a plan and can't be committed, call back to last week, that's a whole different story. That shit, I can help you with that. Call Jeff Hunter. But the reality is social media is what people should be doing in their downtime. Should be educating consumers, giving people a reason to come by, be excited. Not selling shit, people. Education is what we use social media for. Process inspection. I mean real process inspection. I don't just mean making sure a cadence was hit through in CRM. I mean diving into those leads in CRM with your salespeople together. Y'all have gigantic screens. Y'all have ways to do it. Do it together. Go through their last 15 leads. Tell me what you find. Tell me what you find. How many emails, how many phone calls, how many texts. On top of that, any social media reach out, any social media opportunity, any social media messaging to the clients. Hello, hi. Not that hard, hi. It's something we need to be doing more of. Process inspection right now when things start to get even the slightest bit slower. Just the slightest bit. I don't need it to, just the slightest bit. Should right away. Should be two things you go to. Social media and process inspection. The last thing that I'll tell you to keep an eye on right now is your marketing spend. Okay? Be careful about scaling it all the way back or making drastic changes. Now, for most of you that aren't car biz clients, I can assure you, most of you are wasting money somewhere. Find it. If you can't, call me. I'll help you find it. But find it. Because it exists. Because everybody, not just you, the consumer, agencies and vendors have also been living fat because they've been hearing a lot of yes, been a lot of this and no problem. Right? Vendors doing what they want to do, dealers doing what they want to do, cool. Well, there's a day it all kind of comes to a head. And I'm not saying that's today or it's going to be tomorrow. But you're on the way. We've all seen it before. We've all been here before. So take your time. Go back to your teams. Have a real look at things. Make sure things are being done the way you'd expect. And stop wasting money. All right? Thank you guys so much. Next week on the show, well, you'll have to wait till next week. We'll see you then.